So I'm trying to figure out this date for when people who know about me are going to start talking to me. And um, I don't know, but Passover is supposed to be when the Israelites came out of Egypt. That's code for coming out of slavery. I guess that's because that's the story. I am Israel, and maybe, and because Jesus was supposed to have like died in the Passover sacrifice, and because April 22nd or 23rd, I can't remember, it was either one or the other, was the day that I last met Martin. I I think that the next likely date or something to happen would be then. April 22nd is the Passover this year, and and um, you're supposed to, I think this, I don't know, but the Passover is about the leaving of but they actually left on the seventh day. It says that on the seventh day of Passover they left, and left Egypt and went to go cross the Red Sea. And so I feel like on the 22nd, I'm going to get a letter in the door that invites me on some sort of world trip and tells me basic details like the day and time a car's going to come round. I'm furious at people. So I do not want to talk with people. I do not want to talk to people. I want to go on a nice cruise. I've seen some really nice pictures of some really lovely sort of cruise ships that are full of swimming pools and sun and stuff. So I go on a plane, go stay in a couple of nice hotels, go on a cruise ship, um, be by myself. I don't want to be around people. I don't want to be around people who know that I'm God. I imagine how this is how I imagine it. I imagine just someone, a car showing up at my house, taking me to America or whatever, um, and and I'll have a big suitcase. In fact, they might even bring a big suitcase. I do have suitcases, but I didn't have in the attic. But yeah, I will go and go to a place, or go on holiday. I love the idea of going to like a safari in South Africa or something like that, but I wouldn't go there unless I actually got to stay in nice hotels. And if I was organising the holiday myself, I would just go for the cheapest. So I shouldn't. That's just my need or instinct to just go for the cheapest option. So it's best that I'd rather someone else organise it. And I'm jealous over a lot of holidays that a lot of singers and celebrities have been having, and I don't ever get to have. So I would like that probably for a month. If I look on the dates, um, if you come on the seventh day of Passover, that would be the 29th of April, and then I go on a world trip, and um, May. Um, There's nothing happens. Ascension Day is supposed to be the 9th, but Jesus doesn't really mean anything to me, so I'm going to ignore that. Um, Jerusalem Day is on the 5th. I don't know what will happen then, but I guess before I go public, I need to have some sort of meeting about who's on my side. So maybe the 5th of June, maybe I should have a meeting with world leaders or just whoever wants to support me, and for them to confirm that they are going to help me in some sort of way. I mean, I don't think you're going to help me. I think you're going to help the world fix itself, because you know what my higher self is thinking, and my higher self is the one that knows the timeline, hence knows what's best for the world. Um, I don't know what's best for the world because I don't know the future, but my higher self does, and I think she's confirmed that she wants, half and half again. She wants the population to be halved and half again because that is what's best for the timeline, and that's what's best for the world. Um, and a lot of souls will go back to being animals, but when they come back to being human, they're going to be a lot more prepared and a lot more ready and a lot more um, able to be in the human body because their ability to think would be far better. Um, and hopefully we'll get rid of all these nonsense religions where they teach things like God can be whatever you want God to be, and God can do everything, and to just get rid of nonsense preaching. um, And yeah, on the 13th of June, that is when let's get this camera up. On the 13th of June, that's when there should be a 3-day outlet of the public, of anyone, all the news media who know about me and who've for some unknown reason been keeping it quiet for a very long time. Um, just post it. I also noticed that the King's birthday is on the 15th, but next year it's actually a whole week later. Next year it seems to be on the 21st or 22nd, whereas this year it seems to be on the 15th. So I don't know how they calculate the King's birthday, um, but but yeah, it's interesting. I think that's a hint. If the exposure is happening this year on the 13th, I think that is a hint that the focus shouldn't be on me, but necessarily um, do the focus on me on Wednesday and Thursday, on Thursday and Friday, and then Saturday. You could still mention me, but also focus on other things, and then don't mention me again. And Father's Day is on the 16th. Um, so on the 16th, all media has to go completely back to just normal things. In fact, it would be funny if you promoted me as being, or not promoted me, promoted that Christ is coming back on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. But then on Sunday, do something, post something that's very Christian and very anti me, and I don't know, just post some random Christian story or something. Anyway, I've done some research into St. George's Day because I'm trying to find evidence that it's going to happen this year, not next year. I have noticed that Good Friday happens to be on the 6th day of Passover, and well, it's it's unknown when Jesus was actually killed, but they said it was the day after Passover. And so if he happened to be killed, on the evening of the 6th day, um, that could fall in line to how it would have happened um, on in thousands of years ago. I don't think anyone really knows because it's not a true story. It's a fictional story, but it is interesting. But I don't, because that week is an earlier week, and like nothing happened on that week of the second. Next year Passover is going to be from, I think, the 11th to the 17th or something, but yeah, nothing really happened on the 11th to 17th in 2013. So I feel like that's a sign that nothing is more likely to happen this year. I want it to be this year. Okay, I don't have no evidence it's going to be this year or next year if people expose me, but I want it to be this year because I don't want to wait another year. And I hate the idea of having to go through a whole another year of just going through what I'm going through. Um, having living in absolute hell every single day and having no one understand how awful what you're going through is, because according to them you're just making things up. It's awful to live in this. But yeah, this year um, Passover is on 22nd, and April 23rd happens to be St. George's Day. Okay, George is the name of my sister's husband, or ex-husband, should I say, the one she had a child with, and then blocked all contact almost straight afterwards, and has refused to have anything to do with us, and has got restraining orders on my mum and sister because he's not a nice person. He's not a nice person. Who If you've been with someone for 13 years and you have a child with them, okay, Sophie is very bad at looking after children, but you wouldn't just say, okay, I'm going to completely block all it, and then tell the person, I'm going to get a restraining order on you, but I'm not going to use it. You can still come to the house whenever you want. You can still, you can still see the child whenever you want. It's just in case an argument happens that I can use it, and I can ask you to go out. So Sophie didn't even go in to test it. She didn't try to test the paperwork. She thought it was for 6 months. It turned out to be actually for a year. Somehow he got it stretched to 2 years, and she has no idea how that happened. I think it was all done behind her back, and because she was moving from house to house, somehow she didn't find out and didn't know. The courts are a joke here, basically. The courts on this planet are a complete joke. I think at the end of the 2 years, the 2 year restraining order that should never have been on place. It should never have been on place. My sister's an idiot, and he told her that, I'll take this restraining order out, but I'm not going to use it. Of course, as soon as he got the restraining order out, so if he did see him after a dentist appointment and he did say, go away, I've got a restraining order, fuck off. Well, I don't think he swore, but he, yeah, he lied to her basically, made out that this restraining order was something that he wasn't going to take seriously, but he did. And somehow he managed to extend it from 6 months to 2 years. And Sophie has no clue. She's not very with it when it comes to, she's not competent, let's just say that. She's not very competent. She believes people when they say it. If someone says, I'm taking a restraining order out on you for 6 months, but you can still see the child and we're still in good contact, she's just going to believe it, even if that wasn't his plan in the beginning. His plan was just to have nothing to do with it. Anyway, at the end of the year, she was supposed to, after about 2 years of trying to get contact, she did get contact, and then he refused to give her one of her 10-minute phone calls. So she took her about 2 years, 1.5 years to get phone calls. She didn't even get rights to have phone calls for a year and a half. And then after 2 years, she got the right. But after 3 months, there was one phone call that she didn't get. George refused, and she went around the house to complain to George, hey, I want my 10-minute phone call. And then he used that to take another restraining order out of her, because that's a really bad thing to visit your child when for an excuse, when you haven't seen the child for 2 years and when you haven't really made much of an attempt. He forced her away and she stayed away. This shouldn't have been, the court should not have taken something like this seriously, and they did. So they gave her a 3-year restraining order. And then somehow in this year she posted one picture on Facebook, and now she's got a criminal record. She's got a criminal record for posting a picture of her son when she's had a 3-year restraining order on him and made very little attempt to break that restraining order. She is, it's just crazy. This whole thing is crazy. The courts are crazy. They don't care about people. They don't care about anything else other than making money out of nonsense. Oh, you want to take someone to court for putting a picture of their son on Facebook? Yeah, that's good. Government, give us money. We need to have, there's a whole courtroom of people. I mean, I don't know how much money they're making off rubbish like this, but it's frustrating, and I don't want to have anything to do with this world. But yeah, what was I talking about? I'm talking about I don't like George, basically. But then George, I was reading up about St. George's Day, because April 23rd is St. George's Day. So I'm trying to see if there's a link as to, is that going to be the time when I'm, not when I'm taken, but when I'm given some sort of, because I want warning. I don't just want a car to show up at my house saying, yeah, we're ready for you now. I'd like some preparation. So you can say, we're leaving in 7 days, eat up your food in the fridge and pack your bags or whatever. I want some sort of warning. I don't know how it would be, but I thought something might happen on my birthday or on Passover, but because nothing had happened like a day or two before, they're not just going to show up on my birthday and be like, we're ready for you now, because you're just going to get slapped in the face. But yes, I don't know why I would find out on St. George's Day, but technically St. George's Day actually marks the death of this guy. It marks the death of St. George. I don't like my sister's husband at all, but I don't like my sister either. So, but then again, if it links to her first child, her first child, the father has taken him away, not let the mother or us have any access. And I feel like that is what happened to Christianity. Christianity was formed, and it's just taken a bunch of souls. Okay, there is some truth behind it. It gets people to believe in a Christ, but you've put a stick on the Christ, and you've said that the Christ came and did the sacrifice 2,000 years ago when it hadn't. So people are all worshipping the sacrifice, saying, thank you so much for doing this for me. And I'm sitting here thinking, no, actually the sacrifice is happening right now, and it's happening because people like you wouldn't believe me, but you'll go around saying that you believe Christ because you are mistaking him for someone that came thousands of years ago. It's a horrible thing, and I want Christianity to die. And St. George's Day is not a day that I ever celebrate, but it's not a day England celebrate. I mean, I've heard more about St. Patrick's Day. I'm sure St. Patrick's Day is more celebrated than St. George's Day. St. George's Day about is killing the dragon. I think dragon kind of represents godless people, because dragons are kind of like dinosaurs. They are a type of dinosaur in a way, and dinosaurs are here are formed without God, that God does not make them. It's part of the matrix that make dinosaurs, and dragons are kind of similar. So I see when there's a prophecy in the Bible about the dragon overtaking the woman, I feel like it's just that the godless people overtaking the woman. So I will say that I'm God, and a whole bunch of people have have a whole bunch of people who say, no, I know who God is and you're not God. So that's like the godless people are attacking God, they're attacking me. And St. George's Day, the rumor of St. George's Day is about some Christian figure, some heroic Christian figure, saving his princess from a dragon. And well, this day, St. George's Day, is supposed to mark the death of it. So is this a sign that I'm going to know on the 23rd that that you know that it's going to be over soon? That people are going to, the people who've been writing songs and films about me and living much better lives than what I've been. Is this a sign that this dragon figure is going to be killed? Okay, it's not going to be killed by people who worship God the Mother. No, it's going to be killed by people who want to worship God the Father. I can't get rid of God the Father yet because the world wants God the Father. The world does not want God the Mother. The world wants God the Father. And I think that's because the majority of the world are idiots. And they rather worship a fictional God that has a dick than worship a real God that doesn't. But yes, the world is not ready for the truth. I'm very aware of that. And the truth is that God is real, but God doesn't have the power to fix your everyday life, and God doesn't even care about your everyday life. My higher self, I know what my higher self wants, which is to make gods. She wants to know that when the timeline ends, there's going to be a bunch of souls that are good enough to go on to become like me, like herself, and do timelines of her own. That I hate people right now, but then I suppose if a mother is in pregnancy and had been in pregnancy for 11 years, I'm pretty sure she'd hate her kid. She'd despise her kid as much as I do. So I hate the world and everyone in it right now. But hey, if the timeline's going to be 100,000 years, then maybe I'll like the people in the future. And that's just how it is. But can the people of this world cope with the fact that God hates this world and hates everyone in it? Most people cannot cope with that, hence why they choose to worship the Father. And the Father is better at reducing the population, and that reducing the population is the only way to save the world, because the world is being overrun by the dragon, godless people, people who can't connect to God, people who are inverted, and all people can be inverted in ways, thinking that God is more in the past, God is of the Bible. The Bible is God, thinking that God is like a book that was written thousands of years ago, and God doesn't exist in this world. It's the opposite. I didn't exist back then. Nothing I did really existed back then. Whereas now, okay, I don't control everything, but I'm pretty sure I'm in Hollywood, and yeah, most Christians would say that that's where the devil is. So yeah, they're very inverted, but killing of the dragon, and well, it's actually supposed to, George's Day is actually supposed to mark his death, but hopefully we can get rid of, yeah, it's like I'm the princess, but I want both the dragon and the noble Christian who kills the dragon. I want them both to die, but yeah, they first need to get rid of the dragon, and then we can worry about getting rid of the Christian. But yes, that's how it is.